Hey everyone, and welcome to D3 in 10 minutes or less. I am Jasper, and today we are going to draw a chord diagram. Check that out. Doesn't that look awesome? I'm recording this pretty late in the day, not because I procrastinated, but because it took me all dang day to transform the data in the right way. So, in this episode, I talked about how important it is to get your data right. It took me a long time to get the data right. So, with that, I'll just jump into it, talk through it, show you how we can build one of these awesome chord diagrams. So this is the data. You can see I've built it out as a matrix. That's the key thing is with the chord diagram, you want to show the relationship and flow. It's kind of like the Sankey we looked at, but it's kind of more visually appealing. It's a circle, kind of like this right here, right? And you want to show the flow of volume of something, again, from one item to another. It works well when things are going back and forth from one to another, whereas with the Sankey, it's kind of one directional. So what I've done here is I've taken data from 2019. It is global migration data, so humans moving from one region to another. I've done a whole bunch of transformation to get us this square that is 22 by 22, so 22 columns, 22 rows. So this is how we do it. So I've got this data. Let's bump on over here to observable and see, as usual, just pulling it in here. Sorry, 21 by 21. For a chord diagram, you need to define three things. You need to structure the data specifically in three different ways. You need to add in this matrix, so declare the matrix. Let's see. Then you need to provide a list of the names within the matrix, sorted in the same order as the matrix itself. And then the third thing you pass through is the colors, right? So, and we'll see why in a second here. So you can see here, I've assigned to this object a map of the data where I'm just pulling in the values. So I'm just pulling in these values here. Then the names of the regions, which I have here. And the colors. So as we dig into this, we can go and see what we end up with. So we go, there we go, there's that, and that. Okay, so for D3 chord, there's three different, for chord diagrams, there's three different D3 functions you have to define. There's chord, arc, and ribbon. So chord will help you shape the data and prep it for D3 in the way it needs to consume it correctly, gobble up that data in the right way, in the right format. Arc is how you're going to define the slices of the chord diagram. So if you remember seeing the chord, there's little sort of almost donut slices all the way around, and that sort of sets the domain of the data, these different groups that we're showing. And then ribbon, which is the actual ribbon, right, that goes around in between from like one slice to another. So we're doing this all based off of an inner radius and outer radius. So with a pie chart, you just have one radius. With a donut chart, you have an inner and an outer. So the inner is the inner edge of the donut. The outer is the outer edge of the donut. Pretty straightforward, right? So we're adding a little bit of padding just for some visual sugar there. Then we're sorting the subgroups. You'll see why once we show this all up. So there's that. Those are the main things. Right now we just have a blank SVG showing. So we need to add a title, add the pretty shapes, and the legend. So let's jump over here. Let's get the chart accoutrement in first. So we'll go with the title, and we'll paste it in the right place. Boom, title, Global Migration 2019, where are people leaving from? Great. Get the legend, copy that, paste that in there. And I'll share this notebook. I'll share the link to it at the end so that you can see how we actually go through this. I won't dig into appending text and all that. I've talked through that in other ones. But what I will get into a little bit, not too much because this is D3 in 10 minutes or less, is how we're actually going to draw these. So paste it in and talk through each of these. Okay, cool. So we're going the standard SVG append approach. Very first thing we're doing that you can see here is we're creating a group for every item within that chords object, right? So kind of saying in this, for those of you that use, say, Illustrator or anything like this helps to organize the actual SVG elements within the SVG container. It makes it easier to troubleshoot and dig through things if you ever want to crack open the inspector. So we're creating a group for each group here, a group for a group. We're appending a path. So this first path we're doing, this will be the donut. And what I can do actually, make this a little fun, let's comment this out and let's just press play and see what happens. Boom, okay. So these are those donut slices I was talking about. You can see the inner radius is right here. It's this inner side. The outer radius is there. So this gives us the outside of the chord diagram. So we can see for each of the regions of the people who migrated, of the people who left where they were, wherever they started or wherever they were leaving from, you can see how it's split up across all these different regions. I apologize, the color scale makes it a little hard to suss out exactly which one's which. For instance, LATAM versus Europe, where is the break? We can dig into styling in another episode. So those are the chords, right? So those are those pie slices. Now let's add in the ribbons. So what we're doing here is pretty similar, right? So, and you've seen this approach before in D3 if you've done stuff with D3, where you're appending, you've got the data, and the D for the path, which is basically the definition of the path, is based off of ribbon. So ribbon, again, if you recall, ribbon is this one right here. So it's a function. So it's basically telling D3, hey, look for your other friend D3. You look for the ribbon friend. The ribbon function knows what data to look for, how it's structured, because we structured it here in chord. So it knows what to look for, how it's structured, and how it will draw. So if we press play, there we go. There's a chord diagram. So beautiful, right? This one's kind of hard to suss out. So if we're going to put on our analytics hats and actually criticize this a bit, I think I have too many regions in here. If I was to redo this, I would probably crank it down to just the continents, maybe see some flow there. Maybe add some interactivity here around where you could click on a given ribbon and it would say the from and to. Maybe we'll work on that in another episode. But yeah, so that's a chord diagram. These are really fun to build. I will warn you though, work on the data beforehand. You don't want to spend all day trying to get stuff right. I should show, I'll show actually right here. You can see that's what it looked like before I got the data right. So very sparse, kind of looks like a spider web. Still cool, right? D3 is cool, data viz is cool, but it didn't tell any data. This helps give a concept of all the different flow from region to region. Yeah, so if you like this video, feel free to subscribe, smash that like button. If you didn't like this video, as always, let me know why. Tell me what I could do better. If you have an idea for a different chart that you want to see, let me know. I'll build it. We can build it together and we'll learn. With that, I wish you a great rest of your day, and I hope this helped out. All right, thanks a lot.